welcome. This is Damien reporting live for Premier Magazine from the Digital Infrastructure Conference in sunny Krakow. We're talking here with Damien Lecarpentier, who is Project Director of EUDAT, which is one of the organizers of this conference. So welcome.
Thank you.
Damien. Yeah. So can you tell a little bit about what EUDAT is?
Yeah, the EUDAT is a network of research organizations, computing data centers that are working together to create and establish a collaborative data infrastructure. And this infrastructure consists of a few services in the area of data management, but also try to promote a number of practices, trying to harmonize the way the centers across Europe deal with data management. So I'm the project director of EUDAT, which started as a project, but now which is moving into a more sustainable organization, and actually also the head of this new secretariat, because we have established a new secretariat, and now we have commitments from a number of partners for 10 years to sustain the collaboration and support the infrastructure and its services.
EUDAT is, let's say, data services for research. What's the difference with data services that people normally use, like Dropbox or Google Drive or Microsoft Azure?
Yeah, so the data services that we are providing are for research, and what we are trying to do compared to commercial providers is, and where the added value of these services lie, is in their integration with the environment, the overall environment of the data center. So when we design services for data management, we like them to be also coupled or integrated to a computing environment, because that's what makes them integrated. That's what makes them interested compared to a single discrete commercial service.
Is there also a difference in size of what people use for data?
The thing with these data services that are provided on demand by these data centers is that they are scalable in terms of capacity. So depending on the agreements that you might have with specific service providers, there's a huge potential for customizing these services and according to the needs of the researchers. I think that's one of the main added value of these public service providers, is that they are there to serve the researchers, the users, and on a non-for-profit basis. So there's a bigger possibility to customize the service and co-design the service together with the research communities.
How many people or organizations are using currently EUDAT?
So at the moment we are we have 35 parties in the project. Now in the agreement, which is pushing for the sustainable organization, we have an initial set of 18 signatories. So these are the major super computing and data centers from Europe. We have also together a few research organizations. And in the whole EUDAT, we are partnering with a bit more than 30 research communities. And they are coming from all kind of disciplines, from life science to climate science, linguistics, earth science, atmospheric science, all kind of a lot in environmental science, but spanning the different disciplines. And what we do now is that we're still an emerging infrastructure, so it's a lot about piloting, integrating the services to the research infrastructures that are also emerging. When we see the ES3 communities are at a different state of maturity, and they're also in the planning and development phase, and we're discussing how the generic services that we are building can be integrated to their research infrastructure to support their research.
EUDAT is about the data, but the data alone is not very useful, because you need to access it, you need to process it. And am I right assuming that that's the reason why you collaborate?
Yes, exactly. So what we're interested in is to focus on the data management part, but obviously data storage, data management is not always appealing itself for research communities who want to have a full portfolio of services, and here we're developing collaboration with EGI, with Praise, also with OpenAir, to enrich the portfolio that is being developed by EUDAT. So we have a few working collaboration with EGI and Praise for the computing part. Mm-hmm. They have organized the provision of the computing on a European scale, and so we are very much interested to interoperate with them so that the researchers can both store, manage their data, process it, and then preserve it across the different infrastructures.
You mentioned in one of the presentations that within Praise, if you apply for funding, funding computing time, that you can also say, well, we would like to have access to EUDAT storage during the computation or for our project. Yeah. And what were the numbers about that? Are people interested?
Yes, so it's something we have initiated last year as part of their DECI call. So what we offer to applicants is the possibility to access EUDAT storage resources and environment once the computation on the Praise system has been done. Praise itself is not so much interested in keeping the data once it has been computed. Sometimes it's quite big data and the research communities or the researcher doesn't have the environment to support it for a long period of time. So that's where the added value of EUDAT comes into play, and we offer the possibility to move the data to an EUDAT site where it can be preserved and where the researcher can still access it. So why is it possible is also because we have a strong, nice overlap between Praise and EUDAT centers. A lot of Praise centers are also involved in EUDAT. Sometimes different teams working on the HPC and on data management, but that makes very much sense, and it's very possible to have the data stored locally. What's happening sometimes is that, say, you have a researcher from Finland applying for Praise computing time in Germany, and then once the data has been computed, then the data can be moved back to CSC, for example, which is involved in EUDAT and which can use EUDAT services for that purpose.
In Krakow, what are the most important things that are discussed here?
The collaboration between the different infrastructures, how to improve it, how to foster it, and the direction we should follow. It's really the first event of its kind that has been organized here. It's quite an achievement per se, although it's an achievement if it continues like that. But on principle, the feedback from the main organizers is that we should go forward and we should carry on with this kind of event. I think the users, the research communities, and the developers are very much interested in having this organized as a single event, because sometimes they are the same people working on in different infrastructures. So the feedback we are getting, we need to analyze it more carefully, but it's that there's a big demand and interest for having us organizing this together. And it makes very much sense, because if you organize a single event, usually the question that arises is that, okay, well, what you do is good, but how do you interoperate with Praise, with EUDAT, and now we have the possibility to answer this question, and we see also the high demand for greater collaboration.
EUDAT, how is it financed?
So it's been financed by project EC project money. We had the first phase of 3 years funded by FP7, and now we're in the middle phase of the second project. Also financed by the European Commission. But now we have also established a membership organization where any organization providing ICT services can join the EUDAT organization, and then there's a membership fee that is supporting a secretariat which has some coordination function to manage the collaboration, to manage the participation of the sites in different projects, and also manage the infrastructure itself.
So a big part of the funding is still coming from the European
yes.
Union, and the European Commission, of course, wants to know if the money is well spent. And one of the things that they do is they have this thing called key performance indicators, which you should show to the Commission. Well, these are the things that we think are important to value what we do within our project. So can you tell a little bit about that?
Yes, it's a very actual topic. I think all the research infrastructures and the e-infrastructures are working on these KPIs. I think the KPIs need to be taken very seriously, and sometimes writing projects, you write a list of KPIs and then you forget it 6 months after, but then that's not what we should do. I think we should really use the KPIs to monitor the strategy and the impact and the achievement of the objectives, and be flexible and be also able to revise the strategy. Sometimes the KPIs are not relevant or are becoming obsolete. But I think we should take this tool seriously. Now the difficulty is to harmonize the different KPIs across infrastructure. So every infrastructure has to do its own homework. In EUDAT we're working on it at the moment. We have established a list of KPIs according to our objectives. So in terms of data access, data availability, preservation, also trustworthiness, multidisciplinarity, interoperability with other infrastructures, knowledge transfer. So these kind of KPIs that are important for us and that help us to monitor whether we are on track in meeting our objectives. But I think now the next challenge is to harmonize these KPIs across infrastructures to make sure that everybody is counting a thing the same way, that there's a common approach so that we can compare. It's not about comparing the performance of the infrastructures themselves, but it's about trying to harmonize the interpretation of the performance of the infrastructure we can have. And here, I mean, the ERG is starting a very interested work on this. There's a draft document on the KPI approach that is being proposed. They have also the intention to have a broader consultation with the infrastructures, with the funders, with the research communities to start to agree on a common framework for KPIs. And EUDAT was invited to present in Bratislava its approach, which we did. And I think that's very, very promising. But that's not a simple exercise. That will take time. It takes very much time within an infrastructure to agree on meaningful KPIs. So when it's about comparing the KPIs across infrastructures, we need to make sure we are talking about the same thing, we have the same definitions and so on. But that goes into the right direction. That is very much in line with all the work around the cross infrastructure service catalog, which need to be also coupled with the KPIs. And I think we are going in the right direction.
Will there be another e-infrastructures conference? The next one?
Like this one?
Yeah.
We are going to collect the feedback from the participant, try to see how it went. I mean, as I said, at the moment, the feeling is that people are happy about this kind of a setup. But right after the conference, we have a meeting to share our views and try to analyze the feedback, and then from then on we'll see whether we organize another conference. I would say in principle, I think most of the, if not all, the e-infrastructures are in favor of such an event. Now there can be question about whether it should be a yearly event or a biannual event, something like that, and also we need to maybe better scope the targeted audience, the kind of presentation and sessions we want to have. I think this was a first try. I would say quite a successful first try, but we can also improve a lot this kind of setup for the benefits, and not just about for the research committees, but also for the infrastructures themselves.
Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
For Premier Magazine, this was Damien reporting.